Well, hi, everybody. I'm Brad Stone, and welcome to another edition of Chats with the Cats here on soulandjazz.com. And today I'm very, very happy to have join us the very wonderful and versatile pianist, Zaccai Curtis. Zaccai, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Brad. Appreciate it.
So, what I want to do is, well, first I want to congratulate you on having the number one jazz record on the Jazz Week chart here in the United States for the last, I think it's been 3 weeks now. That is really an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't expect that. I put out a post the other day, and it's weird for me to it's not something that I'm generally used to, but I appreciate it. And I think the musicians on the album are for sure deserving. I mean, Willie Martinez on timbales and Camila Molina, Luquez, Reinaldo de Jesus, they're all just unbelievable musicians. And it's music that we've been working on, for the last 10 years and just came out very naturally. No written charts, just arrangements that we came up with. And we just went in the studio with that. So it's, you know, uh, I appreciate it so much that something that we love so much to do gets appreciated and recognized, and especially in a project like this, which is something focused. It's like a period piece almost, where we kind of reimagine some of the stuff coming out of the '40s, particularly the kubap style.
Well, I'm going to make a comment and then you can comment on it. But when I listened to your record, the first time I heard it, what really impressed me was the fact that you play with the piano with great precision. And I'm saying this as kind of like as a piano player, but I'll qualify that, a former piano player. I haven't played in a long time, but you play with great precision and yet a wonderful feeling simultaneously. And I think that's a difficult thing maybe to meld the two.
I appreciate that. Well, as pianists, we try our best, right? It's a pretty tricky instrument to play clean. It's almost like one of those instruments that's easy to start on, but to get it really clean and have that end result is always something that you look forward in trying to accomplish. And that's what I've been doing for, my whole life in terms of just trying to get better and better. And even to this day, I practice quite a bit on that. And so I appreciate that very much. It's this particular style of playing is something, especially it depends on which pieces that we're kind of like talking about. But in particular, the Noro Morales section, which is 4 songs that were dedicated to Noro Morales, where I took 4 of his tunes and try to recreate that. I'm literally trying to play in his style. It's something that I listened to for years and years. And also other piano players like Charlie Palmieri and Joe Loco, which also have like a big connection there, Eddie Palmieri. So there's like a connection that I'm trying to capture, language, a style, and that's different too. It was what was an easy thing to try to imitate and emulate, and then also be creative with it.
Yeah, to put your own mark on it, right? Um, yeah,
Yeah,
so uh,
indeed, indeed, and then at the same time, of course, strive for that clean
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Well, again, congratulations because to get to number one on that chart, I mean, you look at that chart and you see all the other cats that are on there. I mean, just heavyweights, some big names and some
Yeah.
great recordings.
Yep.
And so that's just as I say, a wonderful accomplishment. I've got your CD up here on the shelf. I'd encourage people to check it out. Uh, Kubop Lives, but I've
Yeah.
also
It's a
got
play on Bird Lives. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I
Yeah.
was on the air the other day and I played something from Lakeisha Benjamin's new album, and then I got
Yeah.
around to Avery Sharp's new album, and there you are again. And it
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
like you're all over the place these days, which is a good thing. And talk to us a little bit about, in going from, let's say, your own project and then playing in Lakeisha's band, really high energy, and then Avery's band. I mean, how how easy or how difficult is it to kind of like switch, stylistically?
Um, you know, that's a good point, and it is tricky. A lot of musicians they do it in different ways. So, like if you're playing an R&B setting, or even if you're playing something more in the style of Elvin Jones, and then you're switching to a classic trio like Red Garland. There's a lot of pianists and a lot of musicians that do this quite a bit with different styles. And it is tricky. You do have to prepare, that's for sure. You have to prepare, and it's kind of sort of like switching gears, but I think if you dedicate yourself to the specific sounds of certain people and you kind of understand that process, it's a lot easier. I don't want to say it's easier to make the trend of trying to explain it. It is a little bit easier. And I think a lot of my training came from playing with Donald Harrison for so many years. Donald Harrison is known for playing multiple styles, funk, New Orleans, straight ahead classic jazz to Latin jazz. And you had, oh no, especially R&B. And it was important. He had us play the music as it was meant to be played. And so we had to learn the traditional music the way it's supposed to be played. Bebop, we had to learn the way it's traditionally played. And then, of course, um, we played, at one point, we went all the way back to early New Orleans playing Scott Joplin live, Scott Joplin's music live. And we did spirituals. We did, we can go, I can go down the line with Donald Harrison's school. And he is very adamant about playing it correctly, especially the blues. Blues was important. I remember early on that was a big point for me to capture and to be a part of that. So that was all those different music. Donald Harrison can do absolutely anything and very well. So to try to follow in those like footsteps and make sure that you're on top of your part, you had to do your homework, and so that kind of helped me prepare for a lot of the bands that I've always been in. And, yeah, I think it's important for musicians to do that.
I kind of think of Donald Harrison in the same kind of vein now, a more modern version of someone like, Miles Davis or Art Blakey or Frank Zappa for that matter. They're like the university of Art Blakey, right? And the
Yeah,
university of Donald Harrison, right? Because he's brought along so many younger players and who have, gone on to great careers. And so he's definitely a training ground, isn't he?
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, one of a kind.
Now you grew up in New York, right?
I grew up in Hartford. Hartford. I grew up playing at the Artist Collective with Jackie McLean in that school for young students. And then there was also a few other programs in Hartford. Hartford Conservatory had a program, and then of course the Greater Hartford Jazz Academy for high school. And then I moved to Boston. Where I was at NEC for 6 years, and then after that I moved to New York.
Oh, okay. And then you're on the faculty. You're a professor of music at the University of Hartford. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm at University of Hartford, and I just started my first year at Westcott. Sure.
Very cool. You must know my good friend Chuck Obachowski there, doing jazz radio. Unfortunately, we're having a little
Very
connection
well.
issue here.
Very well. I just dropped off a couple of records with him a few weeks ago.
Yeah, good guy. One of the nation's top radio programmers. He's a good one. Um, Now, when you were playing with Donald, did you end up living in New
Sorry
Orleans
about
for a while?
that. Probably my connection.
Yeah, your connection is it says here your bandwidth is low, but we're still getting most of it, I think. So we'll just carry on here a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you end up?
No, but I would go out there. Uh, I'm
We seem
sorry.
to we seem to have lost you.
I didn't move to New Orleans, but he would fly me out, and I would probably be there at one point. You want me to call you back?
Um, why
Can
don't
I call you
we?
back and like
uh,
try to find a stronger area?
If you maybe if you try turning off your video, that will improve the audio part. Let's try that.
Uh, like this?
Yeah,
Or
let's see.
okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so far it sounds pretty good. So we'll try
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. If I need to call you back, I can call you back. But with Donald Harrison in New Orleans, I used to go quite a bit. I spent a lot of time in New Orleans playing with him, and he was flying me out there. At one point, I was going out there almost once a month. But we were playing all over the world, and we went to China, we went to Australia, we went to everywhere, Germany, Switzerland, um, Russia. I mean, we toured quite a bit with Donald, and then I've been doing that for almost 20 years with him. So I was in New Orleans for many festival dates and performances, and I'm very appreciative of him really bringing not just myself but a lot of young musicians out with him, especially when we didn't even know. We had no business being there on the stage, but he was very patient. Let me put it like that.
Well, what a wonderful experience to be able to, tour the world um, with one of the world's greats.
Yeah, and this album, I dedicated it to Donald and to Eddie Palmieri. So I mean, you might not know it unless you get that record and see it inside. But
Well, that's the wonderful thing about having a physical copy.
right,
So we in radio appreciate that very much. Um, so I mentioned you playing on Avery Sharp's new album and also on Lakeisha's. Anybody else that you're currently working with or touring with?
yeah, I'm working with Cindy Blackman Santana, and we're in the middle of recording, and I've been working with her for a very long time, maybe about 11 years or so, and um, that's a different that's a different um, sound altogether to capture because it's her sound. I mean, obviously, it's coming out of a lot of great musicians again, like Miles Davis and Tony Williams, but she has a very specific thing, and we've been working with her on this sound for a long time. So looking forward to that. I work with Avery Sharp. You have him up there, and we just cut the record with Lakeisha. That was a great time in the studio, and I think, well, my own band. What I've been doing is trying to focus on my own projects. I have a project that I just recorded with Craig Handy on saxophone, and it's a completely different thing than the Afro-Cuban jazz stuff. So I'm looking forward to people hearing that and performing with that band, and that's a lot of fun. That's kind of where my focus is right now. I'm really trying to get my own performances with my own group as much as possible.
Well, that's great. Look forward to both your own groups, recording and then with Cindy's as well. Exciting to hear. And what about a new Curtis Brothers album? It seems like it's been a while since we had one with you and Lucas together.
Yeah, that we stopped record. So our Curtis Brothers projects always included Ralph Peterson on it.
Yeah.
specifically like the Curtis Brothers, um, non-Latin jazz style album, our straight ahead stuff. And Ralph was such a big part of our life, in development, musical development. And right now we have been performing as a Ralph Peterson tribute ensemble. We just did the Hartford Jazz Festival, and that included Jeremy Pelt, Wayne Escoffery, and um, that was Jerome Jennings on drums, Tia Fuller, and it was great because it was like a almost a reunion of some of the band that we used to play with Ralph, and hopefully we'll do more of those. We're doing a lot of trio performances. We have a trio performance coming up next month. We're doing also the side door in October for 2 dates. That's featuring different drummers on each night. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that just for now, before we start a new project. But that was a big loss for us musically, and of course we lost a important friend and mentor. So that's what the Curtis Brothers are doing. We have thought about it. We have music, but we would like to do this first before we do that.
Well, it's a nice tribute to Ralph. And then you were starting to say we also lost, and then we lost you. So I'm not sure who it was that you mentioned.
Oh, it was Ralph Peterson.
Oh
Ralph
yeah,
Peterson. Sorry, like we lost a friend and a mentor and just a musician.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, a big loss indeed. Um, well, it's nice to know that you guys are honoring his memory.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, Zaccai, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the program, and really appreciate your time. I know you got a family gathering right now, and you have a gig tonight, so I'm really happy that you took the time to chat with us. And I'm going to end our little chat with a question that I ask everybody. Is there something that is exciting you right now? Maybe a book that you've read, or a movie that you've seen, or maybe somebody else's album that is turning you on. Um, what's been
Yeah,
exciting you lately?
yeah. What has been extremely exciting for me is getting the chance to go to live performances and watch them. So I've seen a bunch in Hartford, and then of course playing the live performances with some amazing people. Myself, we did a recently. I just did a live performance solo piano that was in the Hamptons. They invited me out, and that audience was amazing. And that's kind of where I really live right now in terms of my inspiration is right there on the bandstand. A lot of times, my inspiration will be, it could be from a number of different things. But right now, I'm definitely getting it from playing with different musicians, also from seeing the students play, the students approach the music differently and their ideas also extremely inspiring. So that's kind of where I'm living right now is the live performance life. And I think you know, that's really special. Especially for right now, it's a really big escape for me in terms of how the summer has been. I mean, I've been blessed in the summer, and we did a lot of records. I just did a record with Daryl Yoakley, and that'll be released on the same record label as ours, which is the TRR Collective, which we it's a bunch of artists releasing their own recordings, and that sort of thing is for me extremely inspiring, and of course, it's sparking new music and new ideas, things that I want to do, and I'm just getting it from my peers, from my performances and other people's performances. So and of course the people that are supporting the music is extremely inspirational. But it's weird. Been on tour for the last few years. This is like one of my first summers that I'm spending it here, and I was able to do a lot of things like the Litchfield Jazz Camp this summer, and like I said, meeting so many new people and new musicians was a pretty amazing thing.
Well, I have to say one of my favorite things to do is to go out and see live music. And
Yep,
and of course, for a couple of years there, we couldn't really do that. And I
that's
really
right.
missed it. So I'm hoping that I get to see you perform live in the very near future.
Yeah, definitely. It will happen. I appreciate you.
Good, good. Well, listen, once again, Zaccai, thanks for spending some time with us here today. It's been great chatting with you. You've been listening to Chats with the Cats here on soulandjazz.com. I'm Brad Stone, and we had today's Zaccai Curtis. And take care, everybody. Take care, Zaccai.
Take care, Brad. Thank you.
You bet. Bye now. Thank you.
Bye.
www.soulandjazz.com.